Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about the Community First Fund, and with us right now we have the President and CEO. We have Dan Betancourt. Thanks for being with us. Good morning. So tell me, what is Community First Fund?
Community First Fund is an organization founded in Lancaster County in 1992, about 22 years ago, and we were founded to provide capital and training and business advice for small businesses and others around the region, and we were founded in Lancaster City.
Wow, and you make such a big difference. Your mission is what?
Is to provide, as I said, capital, that's loans to aspiring entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs that want to expand. Mm-hmm. We also lend to other entities like nonprofit organizations that want to grow the mission that they're doing, and also developers of affordable housing in and around Lancaster County. And today, obviously, we'll talk more about that. We're now a regional organization, but we're primarily focused in the boroughs and cities in Lancaster County.
Okay, because you do cover, what, is it 13 counties?
13 counties with 4 offices in Lancaster, Harrisburg, Reading, and York.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about how many loans you've given. Wow.
Over the years, we provided, and it's a big range, we provided about 1,000 loans for $60 million. Sounds like a lot of money, but our average loan's under $60,000.
Okay.
So we have a lot of borrowers that maybe a business owner that needs a piece of equipment and needs $10,000, and sometimes it might be a nonprofit that needs to build a new building and it's $1 million. But our average is around $50,000 to $60,000.
Wow, you're making such a difference for a lot of people. Address that. Yeah,
and that's, you know, the one thing, and you know, when you talk about why we were founded and our core values and things like that, we know that banks, you know, try to do a really good job, and there's just some individuals, entrepreneurs, just don't fit that bank box. Mm-hmm. And maybe sometimes the bank has to make a quick decision because, you know, they're all about scale, lowering their costs and things like that. And so as a nonprofit organization, and because we get philanthropic money, we have the ability, and our investors want us to take our time and try to make sure that client gets every opportunity to qualify for a loan. And so it's not that, you know, we're not getting paid back at the same rates as bank, or we're taking more risk. And in a way, we're taking more risk. But what's more important is we're able to take the time to help them with their business plan, to qualify, to underwrite their loan, and really help them throughout that whole process. And then we have training programs to help them throughout that as well.
What are the training programs like? What do you offer?
We have a women's business center that focuses on women's businesses, but not just focus exclusively, but we focus on the introduction to getting a loan. Do you want to open up your business? Do you need a business plan? Then specialized training like social media, marketing, and even procurement. That's getting, you know, government contracts and things like that. So some specialized, some specific about starting and expanding your business.
So you're pretty comprehensive, aren't you?
I would, quite frankly, I think our training programs are somewhat limited more around finance. Mm-hmm. We do partner with other organizations that do a lot of training, like SCORE and Small Business Development Center in Kutztown. There are many others, but I think our major value proposition, in addition to training, is that we actually have our own capital. We actually have raised, we got about a $40 million revolving loan fund. Similar to a bank, where banks, you know, they get deposits, you know, retail and checking savings, but we have to actually raise investors or raise capital from investors, and we have that money, and then we lend it out. And so what that gives us the ability to do is make our own decisions.
Sure.
And there's a lot of power in that. We don't have to ask someone else, hey, we approved this loan, can you fund it? No, we have our own capital, we approve it, we help the client get to a certain level, and then we can approve the loan for them.
Yeah. Your core values you started to talk about. Yeah. Let's address each of those. First of all, justice.
Well, justice was about you know, providing dignity and respect to people that are really doing everything they have to do in life. They have the skills to open up that business. Maybe they want to buy the business from the owner, and now there's an inability for them to get financing. And sometimes it could be from, hey, no one in my family's ever been an owner. I don't, you know, there's a barrier that I don't understand. Or maybe it's, you know, I'm a woman and women don't traditionally get loans or don't know how to necessarily access them. Maybe I'm a minority and maybe I don't feel comfortable when I go into a bank. Maybe I live in the wrong side of town and banks are not doing loans on this side of town. Less than that is happening today. Back in the 90s and the 80s and 70s, there was more of that, and now there's much more awareness. But there are lots of reasons. Well, maybe a low credit score. There's an injustice around that whole thing. And so I can tell you there's probably 100 reasons, but the fact of the matter is we're just trying to break down all those barriers, because what we're really trying to figure out is, are people credit worthy? And most people are.
Okay.
They're just not fitting a particular criteria that maybe the general mainstream bank institutions have.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think banks are doing a good job, and we work with them. Because quite frankly, the vast majority of billions of dollars being lent in this region are banks. We're just doing a small part that are falling through the cracks. We still rely on our bank partners to do the vast majority of the work.
Okay. Another core value is integrity.
Yes. And what that really is about is, people have integrity, and we want to make sure, and bankers actually call it character. And so we lend on integrity and character, right? You may not have that big piece of collateral, maybe you don't have a big down payment for your business loan, but you've been in your community, people know you, your customers know you, and the way that you pay your bills and all that, that's a part of who you are. I like to use the word character. And believe it or not, bankers don't tell you, but whenever you get a business loan, they're evaluating you on character. Most people don't know that. When you get a car loan and a house loan, you're not being evaluated on character. Do I have the down payment? Do I have the credit score? If I have that, I got my house, I have my car.
Right.
Now all of a sudden, when you're getting into a more discretionary area of lending, which is business lending, they're evaluating your business experience, of course your profitability, but also your character. If you're known as a person that people can't trust in your community, the banks are very leery of that kind of business owner. So we do evaluate that part of a business owner.
Self-reliance. Address that.
That has to do with people being able, the whole fish analogy, like, you can give people a fish to eat, or you can teach them, or they can essentially have their own business and grow their own wealth. And so when someone is not relying on, let's say, the government subsidy, or relying on family, or maybe they're unemployed, but they can have their own job and make their own money, they can be self-reliant. So the idea is that you're giving people a skill and capital so they can go out and go out and actually grow their business and support their community and their family. And you know about the multiplier effect, that when people have their own money and funneling in their own community, it sort of benefits a lot of people. So that's what the self-reliance is all about, which I think is ingrained in the culture in this region anyway.
Right. I think you're right.
Yeah.
Respect is a big part of this.
And respect is, when you come into to work with Community First Fund, and you can talk to any of our clients, we don't care if you come in jeans or in a jacket, or if you're rich or you're poor, if you're a person of color or a woman, you're going to walk out and feel like you were treated in a dignified way and a respected way. I mean, our core values is all about treating people with dignity and respect. And about half of our clients are low to moderate income. About a third of our clients are women. And those are demographics. If you looked at most bank business loans, you'd be hard-pressed to find a third of any loans or half of any loans were to geographically or racial minorities and things like that. So we spend a lot of time to make sure that we can get behind all the barriers, break them down, because I'm telling you, they have skills, they want to pay you back, they look risky, but in reality, our payback rates are higher in many cases than banks.
Oh, wow.
I mean, and through the recession, most banks had charge-off rates of more than 5%. Ours remained under 2 or 3%, which meant that people value their relationships. They're very loyal to the organization, and they pay us back for the way we treat them. People, there's interaction there, and I think what we find is people are extremely loyal to the organization because of the way we've treated them. So I don't think that's the reason why, but it's certainly a benefit when you treat people right. They're going to treat you great. You're just not another number. You're not a commodity. You're not a product. There's a relationship there.
We're going to put the website up on the screen. What are we going to find there?
You're going to find information, about the organization in terms of the kind of lending that we do, about our training programs, our offices where we're located. And I think you'll learn about some of the things you and I talked about, why we do what we do, the fact that this is all about making a difference in our communities. Yeah.
What does this really mean to you personally, Dan?
Personally, I'm a banker. I used to say for the first years, I've been out of banking for 15 years, and I've been here for 15 years. I used to say I'm a former banker and all that, but in reality, I'm a banker at core. But like all bankers, we're just trying to get people to grow their business. There's a lot of satisfaction around that. And I happen to be, the kind of banker that I think we can get to people that normally wouldn't be able to get a loan.
Yeah, you touch lives in a different way, don't you?
Yes, we do. We look at loans every week in loan committee, and some of our lenders, when we talk to them, when they call our clients, quick example is a woman that had a daycare business that the landlord was selling the building. She was going to have to close down her business, and she wanted to buy the building, and she couldn't get financing for many reasons. But when she got the call that we approved a loan, the lender said, that she cried. and of joy, of course. And when you hear that story, it impacts me because I know we are making a difference in our communities.
Yeah, it does. And you do make a big difference. And we're going to take a brief pause, and we come back, we're going to talk to somebody who's valuable in our community and is making a difference. And Community First Fund made a difference in his life too. Stay with us. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about Community First Fund, and joining Dan and myself, we now have Roux. You are the owner of CounterTek, Inc. right here in Ephrata. You're also the CEO. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, well, thank you for inviting me.
Boy, Community First Fund has made all the difference for you, haven't they?
Absolutely. Without Community First Fund investing in, in me, I have to say that I was the first one in there. The CounterTek would not be here as it is today.
Yeah. So what do you do, really? What is your business?
CounterTek, we manufacture countertops for the kitchen and bath industry. We have well over 300 customers within a 100-mile radius of Ephrata.
Wow. And yeah, so there's 39 full-time employees, 2 part-time. You pay 100% of the health care? Wow.
It's a small investment to make in keeping great people. And we do have a lot of great people at CounterTek.
And he's a great leader, isn't he, Dan?
He's a wonderful leader, but you need to hear the story as to how and why he had to start his business. That's how he came to us.
Well, late 2009, the company I was with, I guess you would say, downsized, and myself, along with a number of other individuals, were let go Christmas Eve 2009. So it was not a really happy time, but at the same time it was a happy time because January 1st, 2010, brand new year, we started CounterTek. The full story is that we came right around and started it where the other company had began their business. Okay. So it was a kind of full circle there. We sold everything we had. My wife and I basically invested everything we had, and we kind of were able to go until about setup. Took us till May 2010 to get ready for manufacturing. Okay. I had about $1,000 left, and I had a payroll in 2 weeks, and that's when my loan came through. Again, wow. I was working with Community First Fund for that whole time, and then it came in just in time.
What was it about him?
You know, and Ray's pretty modest, but this is a manufacturing business that he had worked for as the, I believe, COO, okay. Or Director of Operations, Vice President of Operations, and he had a number of employees in there that had long-term skills. The company was moved to another county, I believe it was Cumberland County, and and they all, many of them kept their jobs. They closed it down, and here they're back in Lancaster County where they all live. And Ray, as he said, he sold everything, sold his home and all that, and started this manufacturing facility. Of course, every owner needs working capital and all that. So here was a way for him to save initially 15 jobs. Today he has those 39 jobs. And it's such a compelling story. Whenever an owner puts everything in, they have all the skills, they're willing to put all their capital in, we're willing to invest in people that invest in themselves, is what I'm saying. We're not doing anything, we're not really doing people a favor as much as we're identifying a positive situation that needs a little bit more help. One thing that's very important with us is we're not really taking risk on things that, when people don't help themselves and are not paying their bills and they don't have the skills and things like that, we can't help them. They're not ready for a loan. But you got a serious business owner like Ray, who there was an injustice in a way, right? It's part of the capitalist, system, which is business go out of business. Don't get me wrong, but in the end, there are families, there are children, there are kids in colleges, and so Ray took it upon himself to make a difference in that community in Ephrata.
Yes.
And we were more than happy to help him out, and that's what I think we're here for.
Yeah, and I think essentially the core value I think that he has is the investment that he makes in his employees.
Absolutely.
Tell me about that.
When we come to the people, our business, our greatest asset is people. And the bottom line, it really comes down to, we try to create an environment for employees so that basically they enjoy doing what they know. That's
Yeah.
that's the key to success and keeping good employees.
And it doesn't get much better than that for anybody, right? Everybody, if you're enjoying what you're doing, you're a happy person, and you're producing and you're productive, and it comes full circle, right?
Right, and it leads right into the quality products and the excellent customer service that we provide our customers. Our customers are always telling us that we are heads and above our competition, and I appreciate it. People do business with people they like, and that's our real driving goal. So.
Yep. Last year you were named as a scholarship awardee of the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Business Program.
Yes, that was again through Community First Fund.
Okay.
They don't forget about you once you once you have a look.
As long as he pays us, we keep engaging him.
Yes.
I'm just kidding.
And again, that was a great, perfect timing, because you get to that point where, yes, I know countertops, I know the business, I know my customers, but then there's the minutia behind the business, which you really got to, being bankable, being all these other technical things a leader needs to have under his belt. So that really, really has helped me drive my business. Now we're going to go to the next level, and that's the key here.
Tell me about that.
We're looking to expand our production, manufacturing facilities right here, right where we're at. We're actually going to take, we got a flat roof. We're going to add about 20,000 square feet to the top of that building, and hopefully create another 20, 25 jobs.
That's excellent. Now you created a product line color and you sent proceeds to benefit. There's an Indian tribe?
Yes, the color is
there we go.
Lakota. It's cultural marble vanities, and the thing of it is, my wife is the driving force behind it. She identified the Lakota Indian tribe children through a TV program. I'm not sure which one it was, but she saw a really real need. And what we've done is that the profits from this particular line item, at the end of the year, we write a check and send it to the Lakota Indian tribe.
Wow, that's excellent. And giving back to the community in yet another way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me see. This year, you were nominated for a Governor's Impact Award in the Jobs First category. Is that right?
Yeah, we were finalists, and it was a great honor, and it was got to meet all the really big guys, I guess you'd say, the governor and the senators and all the other people. But the thing of it is, it was an honor, and again, being nominated was an honor, and then being put into it was exciting.
So what does Community First Fund really mean to you?
But the bottom line is, Dan probably explained it really great, but the bottom line is that there's really no particular reason that they gave me the money. I mean, yes, I put everything I had into it, but they invested in me. They loved my story, or they whatever. The bottom line was that they believed in me, and that's what's really the driving force behind what we're doing. People believing in other people, and it really is how I built the business.
Yeah. Boy, he has been a great investment on so many levels, right?
And I think you said a key word, an investment and belief. And we have investors that believe in us. People invest all the time in funds, around the world, micro lending and all that. Sometimes people do it through churches, and here, investors believe in us. We're an intermediary. You invest in us, and we turn around and invest in people just like Ray. And so all we're doing is connecting people that believe in people like Ray. We do the work and then we get it to Ray. So there's lots of people behind us. Just like that's the whole philanthropic model, where you get lots of people supporting initiative, an organization gets it out. And so we're sort of playing a role between people that you don't see, which are investors, and get money to Ray. But Ray said something interesting, I thought, which is when you go and you buy a home and any development in this area of the county, you're going to go in and you're going to have a nice countertop and things like that. What you don't know is when that developer is buying from Ray, that owner's supporting Ray's community and the families just by virtue of having that countertop there. So I think sometimes when we buy these properties or a new house or do this, we don't realize we're helping people in our own backyard.
Yeah. It really
And so
has.
maybe asking your developer, are you using CounterTek?
Okay.
Because I know CounterTek is in my
Right.
town.
Right. It's this ripple effect, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it really is. Boy, Community First Fund has really made a difference in how you do business and how you are able to do business, right?
Absolutely, yes. It's kind of like they have the framework, and you want to emulate businesses that are successful and, as you say, honest, has integrity. Great people. There's a bunch of people that I've met there and worked with. Never felt little, I guess you'd say. I
right.
always felt like I was part of a team, and I appreciated that.
Well, you do our community proud. Thank you for being there and the difference that you make and the difference that you make with Community First Fund. We're going to take a brief pause. When we come back, we're going to have some final thoughts. Stay with us. We've been talking about Community First Fund. A final thought about this, Ray.
Community First Fund it invests in people. Okay, bottom line, don't be afraid to come in and talk to these people here at Community First Fund. If you have a good story, you invest in yourself, they will invest in you, I promise you.
That's excellent. We're going to put the website up on the screen. Expound on that, Dan.
And I think Ray is correct. I mean, we believe in people, and I'll never forget one of our clients said to us years ago, just give me a chance. Is what he said. He had a dream, and he just was expanding his business, and it was a tough sell for him. But you know, every once in a while, you do have to give people a chance.
Yeah.
And businesses like Ray will prove you well. And sometimes it doesn't work out, and that's okay too. You know, whenever we're in the business of lending to people, we know it's not always going to work out. But I tell you, you know, people come in with skills. They come in with the character that you're seeing in Ray, the belief in their community. They're gonna do everything they can to make that successful, and we're willing to invest in things like that. And 98% of the time, we're right. We get paid back 98% of the time. So I think we're doing the right thing, and we're so proud of people like Ray, and we're happy to have the opportunity to share our story here in Lancaster County and beyond.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you were here to share what you do and explain how you do it, and letting us know how this really has made a difference in our community, not just for Ray, but for the employees and for the rest of us too.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here with us today and telling your story. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, and thank you for joining us today. And remember, keep looking behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.